Hey, Cutie Pies, it is Lanickia, and I am coming to you again with another episode of The Bold and the Beautiful. Um, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, do not forget that if you are looking to work from home, I do have work from home videos on the channel, and I'll link one in the description, and then you can go from there into following the other channels as well. Okay, so let's just get into this. On a scale of 1 to 10, you know how we do it. I'm going to give this about a 6. Okay, look, Bold and the Beautiful. You're my favorite soap. But what you're not going to do is keep having the same people meet up to have the same discussion for the next 3 weeks. Okay, so we see Thomas and Shelia are talking on the phone, right? So they still show them talking on the phone, and he's saying that he wants to meet up with her because he wants to talk about this. And she's like, what are we meeting up for? Sheila's just like, what are we meeting up for? And Steffy is still eavesdropping in the background. So then Thomas tells her, we're going to meet. And she says, well, I can't meet right. You can't come to my hotel room. So they put a place where they're going to meet, whatever. And so then we see that Steffy comes in and she's like, Thomas, what's going on? Because you have been acting really weird. And what's up with this phone call? And he was like, nothing. It's just something he's doing for work. And he's focused on that and everything. And she was like, but you should be happy about our parents being together. And you should be happy about a lot of things, but you don't seem that happy. And he was like, well, I mean, look how it came, Brooke. And she was like, Brooke, of course, she goes through the whole thing about Brooke doing it to herself and all of that. But at the end of the day, Thomas is just like, he doesn't want the happiness of his parents to be, from the heartbreak of somebody else or whatever. And Steffy is just, but then he tells Steffy, I have to go. I have a meeting to go to. And Steffy, so he walks out, and then Steffy grabs up her stuff. She's like, you're not, I know that there's something, whatever that meeting was, is what you had on that phone call, and you're hiding something, and I'm going to figure it out. So she goes following him. So then we go to Deacon and Brooke talking, and he's telling Brooke, stop being so hard on yourself. And she was like, oh my gosh, I just let him go, Deacon. I just let Taylor have him or whatever. And he was like, he's hard. He was hard on you, Brooke. Like Thomas, if Ridge really wanted to be with you, he could have been with you. He was just willing to go over to Taylor or whatever. So then Hope and Liam come in, and they're like, hey, what y'all doing? And Brooke is like, I just imploded on my marriage. I let Thomas go. And all of them tell her the same thing. Why are you being so hard on yourself? It is not your fault. Like, you drank or whatever. And so she's like, I know that, but I can't. They were like, you can take some of the responsibility, but Ridge could still be there with you as well. Because you were drinking. It wasn't like you were in your right mind when you let these mistakes happen. So anyways, Deacon ends up leaving, and it's just Liam and Hope there with Brooke. And Liam says, listen, I know you want to get your marriage back with Brooke, with Ridge, but I don't think it's a great idea to be alone with Deacon. And Hope says, I'm going to say the same. I agree with him. I don't think that's a good idea either. And she was like, he just came over unexpectedly, like the night when I had my drink, he just came over. So she's just, it's nothing between her and Deacon. And then, Brooke, you need to tell him that. Like, you need to tell him, I can't be seeing you. I'm going to try to work on my marriage with Ridge. And he don't want us together because I defended you and everything. So I need to leave that alone. I need to leave you alone. But she just comes to the conclusion that she needs to find out get to the root of why she was drinking, like what made her go down that road and everything. So then we see, okay, so before Shelia could go meet with Thomas, Finn shows up at her place, and he tells her, I just want to make sure you're on the straight and narrow. And she was like, what do you mean? And he was like, I want you. He eventually tells her, I want you in my life. I want you to have a little time for us and everything. But Steffy, Taylor, they're my family. And I love having my family with them. And she was like, I'm your family too. And, he's like, I'll do anything but protect them. And she was like, well, I'm your family too. And he was like, but you've done a lot of messed up stuff. And she was like, I know I let you down, but, you know, I'm making up for it. You're not going to hear my name in any scandal. I'm like, girl, why don't you just be quiet while you're ahead? And she was like, you're not going to hear my name about any scandal or anything like that. You know, I just want you, you in my life, and I want to see my grandson. And he was like, I want that too. He was like, I want you in my life. And the way I can talk to Steffy and make this happen is by you just being good. But it's Shelia. It's just like, by you just being good, but it's Shelia. And y'all know Sheila's not going to do it. She always has to put her hands in it to try to manipulate it. But anyway, so she tells him she's going to be good, like, because she's so happy that he's, you know, he was willing to talk to Steffy and that he wants to, you know, build a closer relationship with her. But he also told her about, like, stop just dropping in on Taylor. Stop just going by her office and everything. So that was that. So then we see, so then we see Shelia and Thomas, and they're meeting in the back alley. And so while they're meeting in the back alley to talk about the same thing they've been talking about for the last 3 weeks, which is Thomas being like, oh my gosh, I want to tell. Shelia, no, you don't want to tell. And yes, I do want to tell. Shelia, what you did was messed up. You know, that whole back and forth thing. Now, Steffy is, she's in the front and she's like, hey, Deacon. And Deacon is like, hey, Steffy, or whatever. And she was like, hi, have you seen Thomas? And he was like, nope, I haven't seen him. You want a drink? And she was like, no. He was like, okay. And he went up there about it. It was like, I'm at work. He kept working. But another bartender was like, hey, you're Steffy, right? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, I didn't mean to eavesdrop or anything, but I did see your brother in the alley. What he was doing back there, I don't know, but that's where he is. And she was like, okay, thank you for telling me. So now Steffy goes to the back alley, and she's looking, and she sees Thomas and Shelia talking. Now, she can't hear them, but she can clearly see that whatever they're talking about is very intense or whatever. So then they go back to Thomas and Shelia, and Shelia pretty much is telling Thomas to that you're in this with me now. He's like, what we did, and she said, what we did, and he said, I didn't do anything. It's what you did. But Thomas, the longer you keep this secret, the longer it's going to be what the two of you did, because they're going to ask you, how long have you known? Why didn't you say something earlier? Like, you need to go ahead and tell the secret if you're going to tell it. But he doesn't want to. Well, a part of him does, but then he doesn't want to. It's like, stop meeting Shelia, because that's not going to help you. Like, if you're not going to confess, then stop meeting with Shelia talking about how much you want to confess, because she's not going to tell you to confess, especially if she tells him, Finn wants to build a relationship with me. So you know she's not trying to confess now. And so Thomas is just like, oh my gosh, we need to tell. And what you did is despicable. She was like, listen, you got your family back, which is what you've been wanting. And I was the reason that you got your family back. Just keep your mouth shut. You hear me? Just be quiet. And Thomas is just like, I don't know if I can do that. And so then we see Steffy again, and she's like, Thomas, if you don't think I'm going to get to the bottom of this, you're mistaken. Like, I'm going to find out what's going on. And that was the bold and the beautiful today, guys. I will see you tomorrow for the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.